welcome back. Today I will show you the books that I read in July. I want to show you the books. I've read 7 books this month and we are going to discuss them. First book that I've read, it's More Than This. I will read you the first sentence to understand what I'm talking about here. The first sentence is, "Here is the boy, drowning." So it's a powerful sentence, let's say so. The book opens with a scene where is a boy that is drowning. He's desperately trying to stay above the water, but he fails and he dies. Then something really interesting happens. He wakes up and he's in the new place. He is soaked. He's in the middle of the street and he doesn't understand where he is. He's asking himself, where is he now? What is happening here? This is hell, or maybe this is heaven. Also, he doesn't remember his name, so I don't want to say it either, because if you will want to read this book, it should be a mystery until a point. And also we are getting the flashbacks from his life, and we are trying to figure out what happened in this life, how he get there, how he get drowning in the first place, and why was he alone, what was happening there. I really enjoyed the mystery of this book and the characters. Like the main character, I didn't know what was happening until the authors revealed it to us. I think I will read more books by him. I watched a movie of his book. It's called A Monster Calls, and it's one of my favorite movies, I think, of all times. This book is for you if you like cliffhangers, if you like good written characters, and if you like philosophical thoughts, if you are wondering what it's gonna be there after we died. It's gonna be heaven or it's gonna be hell, or what will happen when we are going to die. I think you will enjoy this book very much. Also, I forgot to mention, I met in this book the most adorable character ever. And if you like adorable characters, I think you will really enjoy to read about one of them. The second book that I've read in July, it's For Aunties and a Wedding. It's the second book in the series Dial A for Aunties. I will try to make as spoiler-free as possible, but if you haven't read the first one and you don't want to know what it's in this one, I think you should skip this part. Just go to the next. Here, Maddie, our main character, is getting married, and we are following her wedding preparations, and they want to find the perfect wedding vendors. So Maddie and her aunties are wedding vendors. They have more strictly requirements for other wedding vendors, and they found the perfect wedding vendors, but something goes wrong. This book made me laugh out loud many times. This book is for you if you want to learn more about other culture, like Indonesian ones, how they think, how they speak, what are their traditions, what are their family traditions, how they like to spend their time, how close they are to each other. If you want to learn more, I think this book is perfect for you. Also, I think you will laugh so many times when reading it or reading Dial A for Aunties. Once you met the aunties, you will not be able to stay with your face straight. The following book, it's a cowboy romance. It's Better Luck Next Time. This book is set in the times when women couldn't get a divorce in any state except Nevada. All women from America were going to Reno. This is a small town there in Nevada. Some of them were there for the first time, some of them were there for the second, third time. And in that city there was a rancho where all these women were staying. Our main character, the person who tells us this story, it's called Ward, and he works as a cowboy at that rancho. He is from a rich family who had lost their money, and he has to work because he doesn't have any money and he needs to send some money at home. But he is very smart and aspires to be something more in the future. Also, we are following here Emily, who one night decided to leave her husband, and she drove all the way from her home from another state to this one, and she came here, and people were shocked because she drove so many miles just to come here and get a divorce. So we are wondering, what did her husband do? Because why drove at night just to get a divorce? The third character that we are following, her name is Nina, and she came here for the third time to get a divorce. And she's very whimsical and alive, and she wants to live this life. She doesn't want to live by the rules, she wants to break them all the time. She's a very eccentric woman. Nina and Emily become friends, and they are starting to do all these little crazy things together, and they are getting Ward, our male character, there too, which is bad for him because he is a worker there, and if he will get into trouble, he can lose his job. This is a very whimsical, funny book to read in the summer. I recommend this book to people who want to learn more about the times when divorce was not possible. And for people who want to learn more about relationship, about friendship, how people work together, what happens if you put a lot of divorces in the same room. The next book that I've read is With the Living by Ayn Rand. It's set in the times of communism, and we are following Kira. Her family was rich and they have their business, but because of the turn of power, all their assets were nationalized, and her family now are poor, and they are returning to Petrograd, which was their former city. They flew out of there when all these assassinations happened, when the rich were killed. They are returning back because basically they don't have any money and they want to start a new life back then. And Kira sees all his little things that were changed in the time since communism started, as closed shops, as poverty, how people don't have enough money, how they should get in the line just to get something to eat, which wasn't like this prior the communism. Also, we are following Leo, who wants to become a philosopher, who is also from a rich family. His father fought in the war. He wants to leave the country because he doesn't like what is happening here now. And also we are following Andrei, who also fought in the war, but he fought for communism. He wanted to make a change to help people who are very poor to become richer. He wanted to change the world, he wanted to give more to the poor, and how he perceives the communism. And I think it's really interesting to see all these sides. So the sides of the rich who were better before communism, and the side of the poor who were worse before the communism, and how their life changed in this time. I recommend this book to people who love Animal Farm, because when I was reading it, I remembered about Animal Farm. And also I recommend for people who want to learn more about the communism, how it was to live there in the times when communism was only set. It's a very philosophical read. It's a very sad one. It's hard to read because what is happening in the book, and also it's hard to read because the writing style of Ayn Rand is not the most readable one. It's very philosophical and it's very brutally honest. The next book that we are going to talk about is Anne of Green Gables. It's a children's book, but I really enjoyed it. We are following here a brother and a sister who want a boy, but by mistake, the woman who is responsible for the adoption brings them a girl. And they don't really know what to do with her because she's very eclectic. She is all over the place. She loves to say big words. She talks a lot. They are very shocked by this. They don't know what to do, to leave her or to say say to that woman that she made a mistake and they wanted a boy. So they were farmers and basically they wanted a boy because they wanted someone to help them with the work. But Anne, as a girl, doesn't really fit for this type of work. So they don't know what to do with her. I was shocked when I found out that this book is from 1909. It's a really old book. To be honest, I haven't seen any other characters that will resemble Anne from this book. So she's very good written. It's hard to start and read this book because by how Anne is, but then she grows on you and you start to even love her and her thoughts, the way she sees the nature, the way she wants to change everyone around her, the way she looks for friends, the way she wants to make new friends, and the way she speaks up all that she thinks. Like, she doesn't have a filter and this gets her into so many troubles. I recommend this book to everyone who has children or maybe wants to read about how it is to be a child. Question: do you like Terry Pratchett? Because I don't see him as much as I should have here on YouTube. If you like it, please leave a comment because the next book it will be one of his books. I can't even hold my face straight when I'm talking about Terry Pratchett. The next book it's Going Postal by Terry Pratchett. We are following here Moist Van Litwick, who is a con artist, a thief and a fraud, and he is going to his death sentence. So basically they already called him. They give him a choice: to die or to be in charge of the post office. So for him it's a very tough choice. He chooses to be in charge because he thinks that he will escape. So he goes to be in charge of this post office. He doesn't know that the post office was closed for a long time. When he gets there, there is a lot of mail, and post office it's beyond damage, so there is so much work to be done that makes him wonder maybe he should have chosen that. This book is basically how post offices work, how to set up a new post office, how to deal with the people who don't want this post office open, because in this world there are people who benefit from the post office being closed, and how to make friendships, how to find out that doing what you really love, it's so important. Terry Pratchett books are very interesting, are very whimsical, are very funny, and when you have a bad day, I will always recommend to read a Terry Pratchett book because his Discord and the way he writes about anything on that world, it's so good. If you have a bad day, it will always get you in a better mood. The next book that we are going to talk about is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. This book starts with the death of Robin, who is 11 years old, and he is found out by his family hanged by a tree. And then we are following his sister, Harriet, who was 1 year old when he died, and she wants to find out what happened with Robin, who killed him, how the murder never got caught. Also, we are following her family, her sister Alison, who was 4 at the time, her aunts. She's very close with her aunts, not as close with her mother. If you go in this book looking for a mystery, I don't think that you will find it. Don't go there like I have, just to not be disappointed. I think this book it's more about how it was to live in the 60s. It's about family, how it was to be raised in a family with money versus a family without money, and also how to deal with the grief of losing a child, how your family can be impacted by such a tragedy. To enjoy this book, you should really love characters over the plot, because Donna Tartt writes characters very well. She knows how to write children, what are their thoughts, how they see the world, what are their struggles, the friendships that we have when we are little. Also, she explores the racism that was in the 60s, how it is to be raised in a shadow of someone who was loved but died. And the plot isn't the main thing that you should explore in this novel. Also, this novel reminds me of Ozark, if you've seen this TV show. Not by the plot, but by the feeling that I was getting while reading it, the colors that I was getting in my head while reading it. And I think if you have watched Ozark, you will really enjoy to read this book. Thank you for watching, and leave in the comments the books that you've read in July. Bye!